"Step aside, sir." We said step aside. Marcus Hayes froze in place, his hands hovering above the hood of his car. The streetlights of lower Manhattan glared down like accusatory eyes. Around him, 3 NYPD officers advanced, their badges glinting, batons in hand, and voices sharp authority. But Marcus didn't flinch. Not physically, not emotionally. He had faced danger before, but never the raw prejudice dress and uniform. "I am FBI," Marcus said, his voice calm but edged with steel. "I'm on an active investigation. I suggest you verify before escalating." One officer laughed, a hollow, mocking sound. "FBI? Prove it. Or maybe you're just another, trying to act big in our city." Marcus's jaw tightened. He could feel the tension humming in the chilly December air. Pedestrians nearby froze, sensing the brewing storm, some taking out phones. But Marcus ignored them. He knew that in 9 minutes, everything here would flip, but he couldn't show impatience. Not yet. Hello, everyone. Before we begin today's video, we want to thank you for your support, love, and kindness. We wouldn't have come this far without you. Subscribing is one of the best ways you can help us continue to bring you great content. It's quick, free, and allows us to continue to bring you great content. Your support means everything. Let's keep this channel growing collectively. Where are you watching from? Drop your city and country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's get back to the story. Marcus tried again, calm but firm. "I'm Agent Marcus Hayes, FBI, New York Field Office. You're interfering with a federal operation." The officer stepped closer, his face twisting with contempt. "I don't care what you are. Buddy, you don't tell us what to do. Move or we'll take you in." Marcus glanced around. The street was mostly empty, the cold December wind cutting through the coats of bystanders. He could feel the tension from the people watching, some whispering, some holding back their panic at the thought of what might happen next. Marcus's mind was sharp. He had been trained for threats like this, but this was different. This was systemic, raw, and personal. "You're trying to arrest me? On what grounds?" Marcus asked. His tone didn't rise, but it carried the weight of someone used to authority. Someone trained to command respect in the most dangerous situations. The officer sneered. "We saw you talking to that guy earlier. You fit the description. Hand over your ID. Now." Marcus's eyes narrowed. He knew exactly what fit the description meant. It meant skin color. It meant the uniform didn't matter. It meant they had already decided guilt before hearing fact. The injustice hit him like a physical blow, but he stayed composed. "Gentlemen," Marcus said, slowly reaching into his jacket. He pulled out his FBI badge, letting it catch the streetlight. "Agent Hayes, New York Field Office. Active assignment. You are interfering with federal law enforcement. Arrest me at your own peril." One officer's face flushed with anger. "Enough talking." He reached toward Marcus. The other 2 moved in as backup, assuming the confrontation was about to turn violent. In the background, a small crowd had gathered. Phones lifted discreetly. Whispers floated through the air. "Is he really FBI?" Some shook their heads. Others looked at the cops, uneasy. But the officers seemed immune to any public accountability. They were sure of their power. Marcus's mind raced. He knew he had 9 minutes before the situation would escalate further. 9 minutes to turn a moment of humiliation and threat into a lesson in accountability. 9 minutes to prevent disaster and expose injustice. The lead officer barked orders. "Put your hands behind your back." Marcus complied partially. He raised his hands, but kept his stance firm, careful, every muscle controlled. "I repeat," he said, "I am on duty. You are obstructing federal law enforcement. Backup is already en route. I strongly suggest you stand down." The officer stepped closer, almost in Marcus's personal space. His face twisted in disbelief that someone like Marcus dared speak to him that way. "We don't care who you are. You think your little badge makes you untouchable." Marcus held the gaze. Then, slowly, deliberately, he spoke. 9 minutes. That's all it will take. In 9 minutes, the truth about this situation will be known to every supervisor in your precinct and beyond. Every choice you make now is being recorded, not just by cameras, but by witnesses who won't forget. The crowd murmured. A woman whispered, "He's right. They can't just..." Her voice trailed off as she glanced nervously at the cops. Marcus wasn't bluffing. He had already called his FBI partner silently, using a discreet encrypted channel. Within minutes, local command would be involved. Federal oversight would kick in, and these officers would be accountable for every action taken. The officers' faces darkened with frustration. They were trained to expect compliance, yet Marcus radiated authority. Not just authority of badge or rank, but the authority of calm, unshakable power. It was unsettling for them, and the tension became almost cinematic in its intensity. One of the bystanders, an older man in a long coat, spoke up. "You got proof you're FBI?" His voice was tentative, but it carried a weight of common sense that contrasted the officer's bluster. Marcus didn't flinch. "This badge, this name, this city," he said, lifting the badge again, letting it glint in the neon glow of a nearby deli sign. "You will answer for your actions in 9 minutes. Not an hour, not 10. 9 minutes." Time stretched. The officers exchanged glances. Their confident smirks began to falter. In public, their arrogance was beginning to crack under the pressure of Marcus's composed defiance. He felt the adrenaline but kept it disciplined. Marcus thought of the countless cases he had solved where timing, patience, and calculated restraint had prevented chaos. This was another test, not against criminals or terrorists, but against the prejudice still lurking in the streets of New York. He felt the cold seep through his suit, the wind whipping at his coat, the tension from every watching eye. He allowed himself a silent smile. 9 minutes. That's all it would take. One officer, trembling slightly, stepped forward. We should verify." Marcus cut him off, voice low but commanding. "Step back. Now!" His presence radiated controlled power, the calm of someone trained to handle the impossible. Then, a uniformed senior NYPD official appeared at the edge of the crowd, holding a phone in hand. "What's going on here?" he barked. "Officer, step back." "Sir, are you FBI?" Marcus held his stance, nodded, and produced his badge again. The senior officer's eyes widened. "You're on duty?" "Yes," Marcus said. "Active investigation." The lead officer paled. The crowd's murmurs grew louder. The dynamics shifted visibly, the power balance tilting. Marcus didn't need to speak further. The room understood. And in that instant, Marcus knew. The 9-minute mark was almost here, and the moment of public revelation and reckoning was imminent. 9 minutes. That was all it would take. 9 minutes to turn the humiliation, the threat, and the arrogance of men who thought they owned the street into a lesson they and the public would never forget. The countdown had begun. Marcus stood poised, composed, the calm of the eye of a storm that was about to erupt in accountability and justice. The senior NYPD official raised his phone and spoke into it sharply. "I need federal verification now." Marcus Hayes calmly handed over his encrypted communication device. "Here, every call, every assignment active right now. Counterterrorism field operation." The official swiped through the device, eyes widening in real-time comprehension. The crowd's murmurs grew into whispers of astonishment. "Gentlemen," the senior officer said, turning to the 3 NYPD officers who had tried to intimidate Marcus, "I suggest you step back immediately. You are interfering with a federal operation. You are under observation. Any further action could result in departmental and federal investigations." The lead officer's face went pale, his bravado melting into panic. He opened his mouth, then closed it again, as Marcus's calm presence left no room for argument. Marcus stepped forward slowly. "You had 9 minutes. You chose humiliation over understanding. You chose arrogance over accountability. Now the truth is clear to everyone present." The officers shuffled backward, uncertain, unsteady, as their colleagues and bystanders watched. Marcus's voice, calm and unwavering, carried authority beyond rank, a presence earned through expertise, restraint, and moral certainty. A bystander muttered, "I can't believe he's actually FBI. I've never seen anyone handle that." Marcus allowed himself a small, controlled nod. 9 minutes, he repeated. That's all it took. By now, the street was filled with more onlookers. Word had spread fast. Passers-by stopped, phones in hand, capturing the unfolding events. A small crowd gathered, murmuring about accountability. Marcus's partner, Special Agent Renee Carter, arrived swiftly. She moved with quiet efficiency, signaling to the senior officer that backup was in place. The lead officer tried to regain composure. "Sir, we..." Marcus held up his hand. "Save it. You made your choices. You tried to intimidate to arrest a federal agent, simply because of the color of his skin. Every word, every action, recorded. Every witness, every device, every bystander. They all saw. 9 minutes. That's all it took for the truth to surface." The crowd murmured approval, some shaking their heads at the audacity of the officer's arrogance. The 3 officers' previous confidence had crumbled into visible shame. Their public humiliation was total. The community saw them falter, and the senior officer's gaze left no room for excuses. Even the small group of officers who had been on duty nearby could not hide their judgment. Murmurs of "they thought they could bully him" floated through the crowd. Marcus's calm authority contrasted sharply with their awkwardness, highlighting how completely they had misjudged him. Marcus raised his hand, signaling for quiet. "I'm on duty. You are obstructing law enforcement. Your actions here will be reported. Any attempt to interfere further will not be tolerated." The lead officer's hands twitched at his sides. He was caught in a web of his own making. His attempts at intimidation had not only failed, but now he faced scrutiny from his own command and federal oversight. "Sir," the senior NYPD officer interjected, "I recommend Internal Affairs review immediately. These officers attempted to make a federal arrest without cause. They failed to verify identity. Their conduct was inappropriate and biased." The 3 officers could do nothing but nod. Their arrogance had been replaced with fear, their contempt replaced with shame. Publicly, they had been exposed, and privately, they would answer to their superiors for the humiliation they had inflicted on Marcus and, indirectly, the community. The crowd's tension shifted into quiet approval. People whispered to each other, nodding, some muttering under their breath. "That's justice." Marcus lowered his hand and looked at the officers squarely. "Let this be a lesson. Authority is not defined by uniforms, intimidation, or assumptions. Authority is earned through integrity, respect, and action grounded in truth. You forgot that. The public, and I, won't forget it either." He turned to the senior officer. "I appreciate your intervention. This could have escalated further. But now, everyone knows who was in the right." The senior officer nodded solemnly. "Indeed, Agent Hayes, your composure and professionalism prevented a serious incident today. The wrongdoers will face full accountability." Marcus's partner, Renee, stepped beside him. "Are you okay?" she asked quietly. Marcus gave a faint smile, exhaustion flickering across his face. "I'm fine. 9 minutes was all it took." News spread quickly. Within hours, local news outlets and community forums carried the story. Black FBI agent stops potentially unjust arrest. Officers reprimanded. Online videos of the confrontation circulated, showing Marcus's calm demeanor, the officers' floundering attempts at intimidation, and the eventual intervention of senior command. The story struck a chord across New York. Citizens commented on the importance of accountability, the courage to stand firm against bias, and the visible dismantling of systemic prejudice in real time. Marcus's professionalism became an example of the impact one individual could have when calm, prepared, and morally steadfast. In the aftermath, Marcus returned to the FBI field office. He reflected on the incident, not with pride, but with a weight of responsibility. Authority, he knew, could be challenged, but when guided by integrity and moral clarity, the truth would always prevail. For the officers involved, disciplinary hearings and internal reviews followed. Their names became known in precinct circles, not as symbols of power, but as warnings. Arrogance and bias have consequences. The community watched closely, reassured that justice could still be realized when courage and professionalism intersected. Marcus, in private, spoke to a young agent on his team. "Always remember, even when the odds seem stacked against you, your integrity is your shield. Stand firm, speak truth, and act with precision. Others will see it, and justice will follow." Months later, Marcus walked the streets of Lower Manhattan, passing the very corner where the confrontation had occurred. The memory lingered, not in anger, but in quiet affirmation. The city had witnessed what could happen when prejudice meets principle. Pedestrians nodded subtly as he passed, some recognizing him, most unaware of the full story. Marcus smiled faintly, knowing that moments of courage, even brief, could ripple outward, changing perceptions, inspiring action, and restoring faith in the moral arc of justice. And somewhere in the background, the 3 officers who had tried to intimidate him would forever recall the 9 minutes that transformed fear into accountability, arrogance into shame, and injustice into a lesson for every onlooker. The world may test you, but how you respond defines not only you, but the justice and integrity that follow. Standing firm against bias, prejudice, or abuse of power is never easy, especially when intimidation comes in familiar forms. Yet integrity, patience, and moral clarity are forces more powerful than rank, uniform, or fear. One person who refuses to compromise on truth can shift the balance, inspire community, and restore justice. Courage is measured not by the absence of danger, but by the calm, principled action taken in the face of it.